Hey, in just a second, Grimm's Toy Show joins us, who has 1 million subscribers on YouTube and was just down at the WWE Performance Center filming something for 2K19 games. So you want to check out this interview. If you are a wannabe promoter, if you want to be a podcaster, this guy has the insight. He went from fan to stardom. You will want to listen to this. It is one of the most interesting interviews I've done yet with Ellsworth. So stick around, check it out. That'll be coming up here soon. Let's talk about Blue Chew for a second. They keep coming back because you keep ordering it. And thank you guys so much. Go type in the promo code Ellsworth. Go to bluechew.com, type in the promo code Ellsworth for $5. Just $5. You get a free order. That's it. $5, you get one free order. Try it out. Your woman will love you forever. I'm not going to make this long or a ton of wrestling innuendo jokes. Plain and simple, it works. I don't even feel like I have to sell you anymore. The only thing I have to sell you on is just do it. I know you're sitting over there listening to this. You're probably playing Fortnite or 2K19 or Fire Pro or WWE Supercard. I don't know. And you're looking over there and your laptop's just like a foot away from your grubby little fingers. And you're like, I can't reach it. Yeah, it'll wait till later. It won't wait till later, okay? Lean over. Put the extra effort in. Grab your laptop. If you're driving, pull over. I'll wait. No, really, I'll wait. Did you pull over yet? Anyways, listen. Go to bluechew.com. Use the promo code Ellsworth. Get the first shipment for free. It has the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis. It's also half the price. It's chewable because that makes it work twice as fast. You chew it, hop in the shower, you come out, you're ready to go. Your wife or girlfriend, your mistress loves you. If you're a woman listening to this, think of how many times your boyfriend has disappointed you and threw up the X, and the ref has to roll him out of the ring because he's hurt or he has a cramp and he can't get it done, and you're left like, I don't know, I guess I'll watch like Golden Girls or Heart to Heart or, Live PD or whatever you watch at home, ladies. This cures everything for both sides. So make everybody in the bed happy. Make everybody here at the podcast happy because they'll keep coming back if you keep ordering it. That's all I'm going to say. Look, that's it. Let's just get to the program now. BlueChew.com, promo code Ellsworth, $5 shipping handling. You get your first order free. It works. I'm happy. Time for the podcast. It's time for another Dogcast. I'm Dennis Farrell, and he's James Ellsworth.
Duh, I need no introduction. This is my podcast, the Dogcast, and I'm here on another evening talking to you, Dennis. Ugh.
Let's get some things out of the way really quick before we welcome into our guest, Grimm's Toy Show, who we both are big fans of. You've been working with him. Look, we can have Jericho's and all these guys all day long, but Grimm is one of these guys that is a self-made man in the wrestling industry, and I really respect that. He's got over, as you say, every time we talk to him, 1 million subscribers on YouTube, and that does not happen by accident.
Heck no, man. He's I was very optimistic about working on Grimm's Toy Show when I first became available. And I went up there, and I had such a good time, and I see what it is, and it's a lot of fun, and it's a lot of fun for the audience that watches it, and that's why he has a lot of subscribers. Everybody has a good time with it.
By the way, I want to talk about our new hotline that we have. We'll pick 2 or 3 phone calls each episode. This time we're only doing one because we have a guest and we really need to hustle it through. But if you ever want your opinions or have a question for Ellsworth or the show, just call 231-930-2053. Leave a message, question, comments, and we'll do our best to get to as many as we can per episode. Unfortunately, this week we only have time for one, James.
Absolutely, man. I'm looking forward to talking to the Dougcast fans out there, and they're all going to call to talk to me. I don't think anybody's going to call to talk to you at all.
Nobody has yet. Do you want to take the phone call really quickly and knock this out?
Let's do it.
Here we go, as this loads.
Hi, Dennis and Ellsworth. This is Cody, CVE, if you will, on Twitter. I had a question that I hope will be answered. It wasn't too long ago that Ellsworth showed up on a Impact Wrestling One Night Only. I just wanted to hear his thoughts on what he did that night. I was actually there in person, and it was incredible. But I wanted to know his thoughts on the current product and the current way, and can we see him possibly making more appearances in that kind of format, if not more. Best of luck, best wishes, thank you, and have a good day.
All right. Well, there's the question for you, James.
Well, that's cool. He was at a show in California, I guess, earlier this year. And yeah, man, you never know where James Ellsworth's going to pop up. I could literally pop up anywhere at any time, and I can promise you haven't seen the last of James Ellsworth.
Nice. That's the common question. You have a lot of big shows coming up. You're not announced for any of them. You just never know which ones he's going to pop up, if any at all.
Yeah, man. It's just like that's the thing. The cool thing about being a free agent, you just never know. And I have a fun character that could do a lot. That I really feel like you could put into so many different places on a wrestling show. And I think people that run wrestling shows understand that for the most part. And if you don't, well, you should.
Remember 231-930-2053. Leave a message. We'll put it up on Twitter. We'll make sure we'll add it to the website here soon. But we want to hear from you, the fans. Look, you have your Something to Wrestle With, which are amazing, and you have your other wrestling shows. But James, you and I have talked, and we want to make this show more fan accessible than any other wrestling show that's hosted by a current professional wrestler.
Absolutely. We want to be innovative here on the show. We want to talk to the fans on our show like we just did. And I think it's a cool concept, and I'm going to, and I just in general enjoy talking to fans, like getting their perspective and their thoughts on what goes on. So yeah, this is going to be great.
All right, James, we teased it at the beginning of the show. Here we go. It is the Dougcast, you and me. We welcome on Grimm's Toy Show, who I've been a fan of. You work there, and you two have a unique, let's just say, relationship there, James?
Yeah, man, we have a lot of fun on there. We actually became pretty good friends because of the show. Like I was saying earlier, I was optimistic at first, but it's been like a second home to me, and I really enjoy my time on there. And yeah, Grimm is on the line now, and you keep saying Grimm's Toy Show, which is the name of the show on YouTube, GTS. But this is Grimm, and he's on the line now. What's up, Grimm?
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me on today.
So let me start with asking, you are a fan just like me. We've been very lucky from, growing up and being nerds, playing with wrestling figures, the little rings, to, you have 1 million subscribers on YouTube. I host 2 wrestling podcasts with guys that never in a million years did I ever think I would be talking to, if not every single week. How did you make that leap from being a fan to, would you say, promoter first? How did that work?
A lot of it was just kind of happened. I mean, I just always was a fan, always collected the toys, had a big collection. And then my daughter was the one who said she wanted to make a web show. And she said, we should have a web show like iCarly, which was a television show that she watched. And I said, that's a good idea, but I don't know how to do it. And she was the one at, I don't know, I think she was 6 or 7 years old. You can upload videos off your iPhone, Dad, right to YouTube. And I said, oh, cool, let's do it. So we just started making videos. And then I kind of turned it away from, just doing little silly things with her to, I said, okay, well, I want to kind of do my own thing that's a little bit more adult, but still about toys, And, a lot of it had some some very crass language, and but it really resonated with people. They were like, "Oh my God, did you hear what this guy said?" And it was one of those almost like shock jock Howard Stern things. People were tuning in on YouTube to watch Grimm's Toy Show to hear all the crazy, outlandish stuff I had to say about the wrestlers and the toys and what have you. And then from there, we would just do skits where I would beat up other toy collectors and steal their toys, or they'd beat me up and steal my toys, and then we would have a match, and I would use one of my friend's rings because I was a trained wrestler from back in the day, kind of a failed indie wrestler from the early 2000s. And, here I am 15 years later, almost getting back into it, calling up my friends, hey, can I use your ring? You still got that ring in that garage? And I started making those. And it got to the point where I was able to afford my own ring. And now here we are.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think my first Grimm's Toy Show that I appeared on was maybe it was back in March, if I'm not mistaken. And
yeah, I believe it was March, or might have even been February.
And I learned of Grimm's Toy Show through my buddy Kurt Hawkins of the WWE. And Kurt Hawkins, when he was on the Independents for a couple of years after his first WWE run, was on Grimm's Toy Show, and he would tell me all about it. So I started watching, and I thought it was funny. It's almost like wrestling parody. Like you see a lot of stuff on there that's just like parody of stuff you see on TV or stuff from the past, and it's a lot of fun. I have a blast doing it, and like I said, Grimm and I became pretty good friends doing it. And now I'm there almost every week, and it's a good time. So like Grimm, I think I ask you all the time, and I'll ask you here on the podcast. Do you see yourself like expanding almost out of the YouTube channel and picking up more independent wrestling dates? Because like I always tell you, when I go to independent wrestling shows, I always have dozens of kids come up to me and say, hey, I saw you on Grimm's Toy Show. Please tell Grimm I said hi. Or, and every now and then I do them one better, and I FaceTime you right there on the spot, and then you get to talk to these kids. So you do have a fan base out there at independent wrestling shows, with the kids and some adults that want to see you. Is that something you're thinking about doing more?
Yeah, kind of right now where I'm at, like I'm not really thinking of running my own shows, and I do take bookings, but I'm really only working with two promotions right now. One which is being Kurt Hawkins' promotion, Create a Pro, and then also SWF. And the problem is, and I don't have this problem with either one of those promotions, but some of these other promotions, a lot of these guys, they kind of look down on me, look at me as like I'm not really a wrestler, I'm not trained, or I'm just some backyard YouTube celebrity trying to take somebody's spot on their show. And at one point I even got jumped and got beat up in the middle of a ring, like for real, because people did not want me there at their show taking somebody's spot. So I'm kind of nervous about doing that, kind of nervous about going out beyond people that I actually trust. But at the same time, I think I could take GTS Wrestling, my own show, on the road and probably outdraw a lot of those people that say I don't belong in this business.
1 million subscribers. You were down at the Performance Center filming some video game stuff, which I seen. And by the way, great job doing that. How are you not taken seriously in the industry, or at least on the independent circuit, when you have a resume like you do?
I think a lot of it is not so much that they don't want to take me seriously, but maybe that they have that own insecurity that, here I am, an independent wrestler working 10 years in the business and nobody knows who they are. And then it's just this guy on YouTube is popular. He's over. He's got a fan base. He's going to the Performance Center. How come I'm not doing that? And then they get mad. They get jealous. They get hateful, and whatever else it is. And it's just, then they give you a hard time about it. And it's just the way the business is.
Yeah, you're like, a lot of people just like, it is a business. That's what it is. First and foremost, it's a business, and Grimm's Toy Show has over 1 million subscribers. Therefore, you have a following. Therefore, if people put you on an independent wrestling show, which I've talked to you about, and I'm going to be, using you on my shows here soon, hopefully starting in December, it's because I know people. I'll get some tickets off of you. I know like these kids are watching Grimm's Toy Show and they want to meet you. I took you to a horror convention a couple of weeks ago just to hang out with me and film some videos, and there was kids there coming up to you. Oh my God, I can't believe you're here. I get to meet you, and it's and people need to like appreciate that and not like disrespect you because of it. Like you're a good guy. You're a family guy. You got 2 daughters. You got a wife. Like it's not like you're some schmuck like that doesn't have like a family and it has an ego and is doing this and saying you're the best thing in the world. No, you're just a family guy hustling, taking care of his family, doing what he loves to do and making a good living at it and doing, a very good job at it. Your YouTube channel, again, hitting over 1 million subscribers. So yeah, like a lot of the, like that negativity stuff, trust me, I've been through it, even though, like, before I got to WWE, I had 14 years in the business, but there were still those guys that, oh my God, what is he doing at WWE? Why is he on television? Like, why is it not me? How come he got a shot, not me? They don't get it. They don't understand it. And that's why we'll never be anything in the business. So you can't really, like, let that negativity bother you or make you nervous about going to shows. Like, you're never going to please everybody. You're never going to make every single person happy. Not everybody's going to like you. And I've accepted that, like, a long time ago. So if people, I always show people respect, when I first meet them, and if they show me the same respect back, we're cool. But if people start disrespecting me, I just, I draw myself away from them because I don't want to be around that negativity. So
Right.
yeah, you just got to ignore those people and not worry about what they're saying, or, I saw the video. You actually have it on video where they jumped you at that show, and, like, I've never heard of any of those guys. So
And you never will.
right. It's not a big deal. But Dennis, go ahead. I know you got more questions. And yeah, Dennis is a part of this podcast, believe it or not. He just, rides my coattails. Kind of like you do a Grimm's Toy Show. Anyway, go ahead, Dennis.
We should be like the Outcast tag team now and just beat up James Ellsworth. But let me move on. YouTube recently changed up their way they do advertising, and without getting too much into the numbers, and I've never had or had an opportunity to talk to somebody who might have been affected by this change. How has the change in their policy with advertising affected your show in the way that you film it and go forward?
The change in their advertising policy made my show have to do almost a complete 180. I mean, it used to be on YouTube, it was the Wild West. I mean, as long as you weren't physically murdering people or being nude and having sex, you could pretty much upload whatever you want and get advertising and make money off of it. And a lot of my show had a lot of sexual themes to it, and it was very violent. And it wasn't so much gory. We didn't really, like, bleed and cut each other up because we don't want to just do that. But, we did a lot of dangerous stunts. We'd have firecrackers. We were hitting each other with cars and making sex jokes. And we never really had any nudity, but, a lot of sexual connotations, sex jokes, and just sexual language. And, then all of a sudden this apocalypse hit, which was in March of 2017. And it changed everything. All of a sudden, from, if you're making $100, all of a sudden you're making $4. And it was like, well, what happened to my $100? Why am I making $4? Like, this used to be profitable and something that made me money, and now I'm making nothing. And, one of the things that we did was we were able to react quickly. And luckily we were in the world of professional wrestling where pay-per-view is a tradition. We said, okay, rather than just doing a special event every 2 or 3 weeks and building up a big video, unfortunately, now we're going to have to charge for it. And we started doing actual pay-per-view, GTS Wrestling pay-per-views for $1.99. And even though we weren't making any money all month long, we would do these 2 pay-per-views every other week. They were actually drawing an income for us. And then YouTube decided to say, we don't want you doing pay-per-view anymore either. And then they cut us off from that. And they said, as long as you clean up your act, you can continue to earn money. So we had to change the way we approach our videos. So we had to get more creative with things. We changed the language up. We took out a lot of the sex, a lot of the really hardcore violence. And I think the show's honestly better because I can actually let my kids watch it now. Whereas, I'd be editing something. Daddy, what are you editing? No, don't look at this. Now, sure, my kids can watch it and they can enjoy it with me. And it's something I can have my children be a part of rather than something that I wouldn't even want my own kids to watch. So it kind of worked out in the end.
Would you now call yourself a indie promotion?
I wouldn't, only because GTS Wrestling has never actually done its own live event where, a lot of people would say, and to be an independent promotion, you have to draw an audience, live audience, running a show in front of people. We only ever do it in my warehouse, where if something gets messed up, something gets botched, we can cut and do it again. But what we do is we do have a partnership with the SWF where we've been allowed to book half the show. So it's GTS versus SWF, for example. And we have 4 or 5 matches on the show that I've booked on myself. I booked, the angles, I booked the stories, I booked the talent, and, they just let me run with it. And then the fans actually come out, and those shows draw more than if it's just SWF by itself. And it's been great for us, and it's also been great for SWF to, have that extra business there. And I'm happy to help because it gives me a platform to bring my product live to the people.
I'll say this. The first Grimm's Toy, and I don't, what would you call it? Is it Grimm's Toy Show, the wrestling? What? Because the first one I saw, you were out back, it was wintertime, snowing, and it felt like this might have been a couple years ago. And I really enjoyed it because it wasn't the same backyard wrestling that we're used to where people are giving Canadian destroyers off the top rope and doing ill-advised stupid moves. It was good old-fashioned entertainment. It just happened to be in the backyard. And from there, and it probably was even different before I saw that first one. That was my first one I remember watching. Take me through the evolution. Did the, as we talked about last year, YouTube dictated how you did your show. What dictated how you went from there to where you are before the YouTube stuff?
Well, like I said, a lot of it was me starting off without a ring at all. A lot of times they were just brawls in my front yard with, the mailman character. Or, we had a psychiatrist. My wife hired a psychiatrist to address my toy collecting obsession, and I put him through some tables. It wasn't really wrestling matches at all. They were more just brawls and whatever and silly stuff. Then it became me using my friends' rings here and there. But once I was able to buy my own ring, I put it in my grandmother's backyard because I didn't have anywhere else to put it. I couldn't afford a facility at the time. I didn't even know if this was going to work out. It was really kind of, I bought it with my tax return. It was kind of on a whim. I'm buying a wrestling ring, and this is going to happen. And once I got a ring, I had a lot more wrestlers in training, independent wrestlers in the area saying, hey, this guy's got a ring. All I got to do is go and be on his show. I can get some ring time. Because a lot of these guys weren't getting booked or only getting booked once every other month, that kind of thing. So all of a sudden, I had this roster of like 30 guys. And we started doing tournaments to crown champions and you name it. And then it really grew. The views really popped. Like you said, it was very entertaining. And the one bad thing was the weather element. We filmed a 35-man Royal Rumble in 12-degree snow because it was the only day I can get 35 people together. It was the only wet day it was going to happen. And to these guys' credit, I had 35 guys show up to wrestle in 12-degree snow weather. And that video is well over 1 million views, and I'm so proud of it. And I'm so proud of all the guys that participated in it. And what it was able to do was it brought enough revenue, enough income to say, I think we can afford to rent a facility and be indoors. But I also sort of think that was to our detriment because I think a lot of people liked that hillbilly ruggedness of it being in the snow, in the rain, a sunny day, what have you, in a yard, and but it kind of looks more professional indoors. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not backyard wrestling technically, but it's still the same show in the same ring.
James,
Yeah,
I've got 3 more questions, but I'm going to let you jump in.
Of course you do. Of course you do. You try not to let me talk. This podcast is my podcast. It's called the Dogcast. You try to ask 57 questions a show.
But they're
we had
good.
Chris Jericho, what he had to bury you. Like,
Oh, jeez.
just be quiet for a minute and a half. A minute and a half. That's all I'm asking.
I'll
A minute
give
and a
it
half,
to you.
just shut your mouth. He couldn't do it. You heard that? You try to talk. Did you hear that, Grimm? He tried to
I heard.
Okay, well, anyway, back to me and Grimm. Grimm, so, like we just said earlier, I came to Grimm's Toy Show in March, and I was optimistic. I didn't know much about it other than what Hawkins told me, and I watched it for myself, and again, was very entertained by it. Were you surprised? And to this day, I've been there for a while now. It took a little break over the summer to go back to WWE and do some stuff, but other than that, I've been there pretty much almost every week, and again, we've become friends. But are you like still to this day very surprised, like what I'm willing to do on there, like and all the stuff that I'm willing to go through to just get you views and have fun with it?
Absolutely. I mean, not knowing, a talent and what have you, a lot of times I can't tell you how many times I've loved a talent on television to meet them in real life and be completely disappointed. But then the opposite, sometimes you don't really care for someone on TV and then you meet them and they're fantastic. So, I always enjoyed you on television, but I never met you in person. I didn't know what you were going to be like, but I said, Ellsworth's no longer with WWE. He's in the area. He's somebody I want on my show. I'm going to take the chance and bring him in. And you came in and just, you surprised me. I mean, the first thing that just blew my mind was when you did that match out in traffic against Ron Voyage, and you were climbing up on the dirt mounds. And I think that was only the second or third time you had even come by us. And I'm saying to myself, I never would have asked James Ellsworth or any talent from television to come here and wrestle out in traffic out on Highway 539, and that's what you did, and it just blew my mind. I said, this guy cares about my show. This guy likes to have fun, and I love having you on.
Yeah, man, it's been a good time every week, and I appreciate you having me on every week. It means a lot. And dude, I always do my best to make sure we get good views on the videos, because just like Grimm's Toy Show, just like anything. It's a roller coaster ride. The views go up, they go down, they go up, they go down. That's, ratings on WWE, same way. Ratings on football games, ratings for, The Walking Dead. Everything's very up and down these days. And, I always, I'm so into it now. What can we do next to get more views? And, I'm all, a part of it and having fun with it. And can't wait to continue to do some more. And, yeah, man, I'm just glad we became friends off of it. We have fun every week. This past week was real fun, and those videos will be up, this weekend? You'll load them up, Saturday?
Yeah, I believe it'll be Friday or Saturday. I'm not 100% sure. We had a little bit of a schedule change today. I had a project that wound up running long, and the normal scheduled video I was going to do today wound up not doing it, wound up putting something else up, so we kind of backed up a day. But, yeah, what we recorded with you Monday will definitely be up by the weekend, for either Friday or Saturday.
Well, real quick before Dennis bombards you with questions, some of them will suck, but he'll probably have at least one good one. How often do you upload videos? So somebody that might be listening to the Dougcast right now, doesn't know your schedule. What's your schedule there for uploading these videos every week?
Okay, well, I have 3 channels that I primarily upload to, and 2 of which I upload to every single day. Now, the wrestling channel, which you appear with me on, where we wrestle in the wrestling ring and everything, I try to put up a video every single day at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Every once in a while, I put one up early, maybe 3:30, 4:30, depending if it's a weekend or a holiday. Sometimes they're late if something happened during the day. But generally, you can count on later in the day, there's going to be a new episode. It's very rare that I miss a day. Also, on my other channel, it's called Grimm's Toy Show Kidlock DMH, which was just a screen name type thing. It's more of a family-orientated vlog channel where it's my family, my wife, my kids, and our adventures throughout our real daily lives. Every once in a while, we do maybe a little story on there. We've had some clowns. We had some mystery stories just to mix it up. But primarily, it's our real life on that channel. And I do that also every single day. So I'm working on YouTube 24/7. It's my passion. Wrestling's my passion. YouTubing, entertaining. This is just my passion, and I can't stop. I'm like a workaholic.
Can I talk now?
Yeah, go ahead, Dennis. I'll allow you to speak so I can catch my breath.
All right, good. Let's shift gears and talk about you going down to the WWE Performance Center. Let's talk about the call, first of all. When it happened, how you got the call, and what was your reaction? Because was that the first time anybody from WWE has ever talked to you?
No, I've actually been offered other things in the past, but I kind of felt as if they weren't right for me at the time. A lot of people don't know this. I was actually, when WWE Network, before it even launched, I was offered a show on WWE Network where it was going to be a WWE memorabilia show. They wanted me to be the host and travel all over the country searching out the rarest, most expensive memorabilia of professional wrestling, WWE, old championship belts, action figures, and you name it. But the condition was they wanted me to stop doing my YouTube show. And yeah, I almost kind of thought like, well, then maybe they just don't like my YouTube show and they're just trying to stop that and then they're going to cancel this show. And I was like, nah. I was a little weary about it, but it would have been great to have my own WWE Network show. And then, yeah, for the Performance Center, I mean, I was contacted on Twitter via direct message from 2K WWE Games and their head of marketing and just said, hey, we're running this event and we'd love to have you come down. But one of the things was we noticed your change in content over the last year and a half, and we just want to make sure that that's something you're sticking with or whatever. They didn't want me come down there saying curse words and, bad things, kind of like the old Grimm's Toy Show. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so I said, no. I said, look, this is professional. This is my job. This is my business. This is what I want to do, and I want to make you guys proud. I want you guys to look back and say, I'm glad we had Grimm here. And I think looking back at the content I've made and what have you, I feel that that's the way they feel. And I'm excited to do it again.
Anything else in the pipeline you could talk about with the WWE or, a little hush-hush right now?
I don't have any projects with WWE coming up. Not that, nothing that has even happened that I couldn't talk about. I actually filmed something that I can sort of talk about. I filmed something today for a television show, and that's really all I can say about it. It's about wrestling, and it's about toys, and I think people are really going to love it. And I did a big stunt for it today, which I'm kind of hurting from right now. But I'm excited for everybody to see that.
Yeah, you're a big wrestling fan. Are you strictly WWE right now? Do you watch any of the other products?
Ever since I was a kid, I was always a WWE guy, WWF when I was a kid. And, WCW to me was the enemy. They were the bad guys. They were trying to take us down. And, it broke my heart when Scott Hall and Kevin Nash went there because they were like my favorites. And, then I had to kind of watch to see what they were doing because they were my favorites. So I started watching it a little bit. But I've always bled WWE. And even today, I want to know what's going on. I follow, of course, Ring of Honor and New Japan, whatever. I want to know who these guys are. I want to know if they're good or not because I always feel like if they're really that good, they're going to wind up in WWE at some point.
Let's talk about where people can find you. We'll wrap this up. I know you have a lot to get done. Let's talk about your 1 million subscribers. You got a plaque. Was that the shining moment, I won my, belt championship for you when you got that plaque?
It was one of those. It was like a WrestleMania moment for a wrestler, but, I'm never going to be on WrestleMania. I'm not going to have a match at WrestleMania. I mean, if I do, and I'm saying that right now, say never, but I kind of don't think that's in the cards for me. So definitely, I mean, there's of all the YouTube channels that get started, I think it's like 0.0001% ever earn that 1 million subscribers plaque. So that's, you could say, as a professional wrestler, how many even have a match at WrestleMania, let alone win a championship at a WrestleMania? That, as a YouTuber, is winning a championship at WrestleMania. Absolutely.
All right. Well, time to promote. Where can people find you? Where do you want to guide the fans of the Duckcast?
Guys, I would love for you guys to check out my wrestling channel. Check out me and James Ellsworth. The channel is called Silly Super Pop. It was named for my grandfather. Me and him founded it back, 7 years ago. Unfortunately, he passed away back in 2014. But I refuse to change the name of the channel to GTS Wrestling or anything like that, simply because he was one of my primary motivations. So Silly Super Pop channel on YouTube is where we wrestle. Or you could just type in Grimm. You could type in GTS Wrestling, any of that, and boom, there I am. You're going to find me. Also, like I said, you'll find my other channels as well. On Twitter, at Grimm's Toy Show. On Instagram, GTS Ambassador. Also on Snapchat, at Real GTS Grimm.
Ellsworth, send it home.
Grimm, so I'm going to show you my appreciation for you and for your wife, Doll Cat, who's a big star on the show. Her name's Barbara. I hope she don't mind me saying her name here on the Dogcast. But I'm going to show you guys my appreciation. I want you to go to bluechew.com. That's BLUE Chew, CHEW.com. Use the promo code Ellsworth. And once you do that, so a package is going to come to your house. There's going to be nothing on it. Nobody's going to know what it is. And I want you guys just to have a good time on me.
I know what that is, you know.
Oh, okay. Well, great. So you should be happy that I'm going to do this for you. Use the promo code Ellsworth. It's not going to cost you much, and you guys are going to have a good old time. You should be thanking me right now.
Thank you, Ellsworth.
Thank you, Ellsworth.
There you go. It's about time.
All right, that's Grimm.
Respect here on the Duckcast.
Wow, that Grimm guy, James, very nice guy. I've become more a fan of his since you've been on, but I've checked it out. It was kind of cool getting the inside information on something that you probably wouldn't have gone in depth on just watching it.
Yeah, like, again, man, he's just a family guy, $2 wife, just taking care of his family, doing what he loves to do, doing something unique, doing something I don't think's ever been done before with a wrestling YouTube channel like that that's so popular and so unique. And, yeah, I'm just happy for him, man. He's a good guy. Again, we became friends, and I'm happy to have him as a friend. And I have fun doing the GTS. It's just an extra thing that I do, and he takes care of me, and I appreciate that.
Let's move on and talk a little bit about the Super Showdown. Last week you said there was no way you would be up that early, and then I see you tweeting like, I'm up, I'm about to watch it, it's 5 a.m. My kid wakes me up to watch it, so I'm half asleep, and there you are. What's the story behind you being up at 5 a.m. to watch it?
Well, I did an independent show, and where were we? We were in Hagerstown, Maryland on Friday. So it was my show, my Adrenaline Championship Wrestling, AdrenalineWrestling.com, if you haven't checked out my promotion yet. And the next day we were wrestling in Altoona, PA for big time wrestling. So we got a hotel between Hagerstown and Altoona. And when I say we, I mean myself and the famous Gilbert. Yes, Gilbert and I shared a hotel room. And he was just snoring all night and just making these loud, old man noises and what have you. So I couldn't sleep anyway. So I was awake. I was like, let me put on Super Showdown. And then I'm glad I checked it out because my boys, Cedric Alexander and Buddy Murphy, really tore down the house. I really enjoyed that match. So I'm glad I was up to see it.
That might have been, I would rank in the top 5 pay-per-views this year. Look, I'm a little critical for WWE pay-per-views, but this one was pretty good.
I enjoyed it, man. Like I said, Buddy Murphy and Cedric Alexander was my personal, humble opinion, favorite match. But you've had the girls, Becky and Charlotte, out there tearing the house down, Samoa Joe and AJ Styles for the title. Anytime the New Day and the Bar get in there, they always have a good match. It was fun, It was. I enjoyed watching it, and, hopefully they go to Australia again next year.
Let's talk about something that might get me in trouble. But it's news.
Oh, God.
It's news, but it's something I want to talk about. I don't know how much contact or if you've ever wrestled Austin Aries, but just recently, in promoting his Bound for Glory match with Johnny Impact, he had a few risque tweets. He used the R word in one of them. He called Johnny Impact's wife Husky, where she has been battling weight issues. Austin, he's very outspoken. He has a reputation. Even PD will say it on the podcast, so I'm not breaking any news or anything. But if you don't know him, he's an a-hole to you, and he can be an a-hole. He's been an a-hole to PD, but he can also be nice. Social media has continued to be a trap for a lot of athletes, a lot of wrestlers. And for something like this, in promoting a match, is there too far when you're trying to promote a match? Because I feel like, and this is a tough one, but when you do if it's not agreed upon and you do public attacks on wives and family, you may have gone a little bit overboard.
Well, two things here. Well, do we really know if it was agreed upon or not? And again, here's my thing, my take on it. I didn't see the tweet, so I don't know. But do we like? Is it one of those things where it may have been agreed upon to put heel in the match? Maybe like it could be one of those situations, or did he just like me personally? I don't go outside the PG realm on Twitter and Instagram or any of my social media. I keep it PG because I come from a PG promotion and I'm a PG character, and so I keep it PG on Twitter because that's who's mainly following me is wrestling fans. One might make the argument of, oh, it's my Twitter, yeah, but your Twitter is popular because of all the wrestling fans following you from the wrestling shows. So I don't use, any kind of bad language on there or what have you. But speaking of like, I could talk a little bit about Austin Aries because I know him a little bit. Him and I were at WWE at the same time. I see him at indie shows. I've booked him personally for Adrenaline Championship Wrestling. I personally, talking about me, James Ellsworth, have always gotten along with Austin Aries. Always, I've hung out with him a few times. There was one time we were in a hotel room when we were both at WWE, just hanging out, talking with some other guys, and so I've never had a personal issue with the guy. He's always been nothing but nice to me, and so that's how I personally feel about him. I don't know him that well, but anytime I've been around him, he's been very cool to me personally. If he said those things about Johnny and his wife, which they are very nice people. Just recently he wrestled her at a bar wrestling show out there in California and had a great time being in the ring with her, and I think she's a heck of a talent. So yeah, I don't know. I can't really comment on it too much because I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's a work or if he really said those things. I have no clue, so I can't really give my opinion other than I been around all three of them, vaguely, and I've been kind to all three of them, and all three of them have been kind to me.
Have you ever been involved in something like that where you may be doing something on Independence or even TV and somebody you're booked up to go against may take some liberties on social media towards you?
Oh man, I've been called every name in the book. It doesn't bother me, honest to God. I'm being serious, 100% serious. You or any fan or anybody in the world can call me anything, and I'm not going to look at it and go, oh my God, I can't believe he said that. Like, if people attack my kids, that's a different story. But me personally, it goes back to the old school sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me because that's how I 100% feel.
Let's wrap this up by talking about HBK getting back into the ring. I really thought that, I had respect for HBK because he would have been one of the few guys. And look, I understand the industry in making money, but he was one of those guys that had a retirement match. I had a great conversation with Tommy Dreamer over the weekend. And Tommy just said, look, I'm one of those guys. I don't do ECW reunion shows anymore. I had one last match with Raven, and that was it, and I'm done. I'm not doing it again. He said, there are a few sacred things in wrestling, and that kind of stuff is one of them. Now, he didn't say anything about HBK. I just want to make that clear as we move into the HBK talk, where, I really thought he was going to be one of those guys, and that would stick to the retirement plan. I wasn't very excited for him to go to the Super Showdown. It was fine. He wasn't bad, didn't embarrass. He looked all right. He looked good Monday. The DX thing felt right. Now going into this tag team match, once again, I'm a little bit worried and skeptical. We've talked many times about how I feel, I want to remember these guys in their glory. And, Undertaker, I feel bad because he's just one of those guys now that I'll always remember Undertaker now. Not Undertaker undefeated streak or Undertaker beating up Hulk Hogan. It's this Undertaker that I'm going to remember now, and I don't want that to happen to HBK.
Well, Shawn Michaels is my favorite wrestler of all time, and in my humble opinion, he's the best of all time, and that's just my opinion. And I don't feel like he would come back unless he knew he could 100% go in there and put on a show and be himself. And he looks like he's in great shape. For the little bit of wrestling he's done without having a match, like taking bumps from Kane and Undertaker and all that, he's looked great taking those bumps. We'll see what happens. He's my favorite of all time, so I will be glued to the TV when he wrestles, and that's pretty much my take on it.
Well, James, it's time to promote. You and I will be hanging out for a little bit this weekend.
Oh my God, I got to go to Detroit. Usually I'd be happy about that because I like Detroit, but now that I know you live in the area, that's just pick me up at the airport at 11:30. Be there on time. Bring me a Starbucks. I want a pumpkin spice latte and a Boston cream donut from Dunkin' Donuts. So you have to make 2 stops before you get to the airport there in Detroit.
Did you really just say pumpkin spice latte?
When you call me a basic B, is that what you're saying? Huh? You call me names?
I just want to make sure I heard that right. The audio might have crackled there. You did say pumpkin spice latte, right? I want to make sure I have it right.
Yeah, you're writing it down so that you're taking my order right now is what you're doing. Yes, that's what I like. I enjoy it. What's wrong with that, Dennis? You don't like pumpkin spice latte? Huh? It's not delicious? It doesn't taste good? What do you have against it?
I will have 1, 2 in support of you.
It's delicious. Starbucks. It's the best. I'm hooked on it. Anyway, yeah, I'll be in Detroit this weekend. Go ahead and promote the promotion because I know you're going to do an okay job at it. Go ahead.
Guys, XICW, it's the second show in Cobo Arena, which is the big convention center here in Detroit. If you live out here, make sure you go. James, you'll be there. OVE will be there. A ton of talent coming in. This looks like it's going to be one of those fun shows. Last year, you never know what will happen. Yes, XICW, the big Cobo show. That's the first time I saw you. You went out there to hang out. I tell you, it is a nice big show. Michael Elgin's going to be there. Congo Khan's going to be there. Simon Grimm is going to be there. Hernandez and Homicide.
Simon Gotch.
Yeah.
Simon Gotch. He said Grimm.
Simon Grimm. That's what he's going by, though. That's what he's going by, Simon Grimm.
Okay, well, I know him as Simon Gotch from WWE. He's another, buddy of mine. Anywho, moving on.
What else do you have?
When you like to know.
Yeah, that's why we're asking.
Well, you can visit me on Twitter at Real Ellsworth and visit me on Instagram at James Ellsworth Wrestling and keep up with what I'm doing. I'm not just going to continue to tell you every week, Dennis.
All right.
I'll tell you anything. I don't like to tell you that you're a stooge. We just found out right here on the Dougcast. You're a stooge. You're one of those guys that's recording people without their consent, and I'm very, very disappointed at you. And I don't like you even more after this podcast we just did. The Dougcast today made me like you even less than I did an hour ago. How does that make you feel?
Good. Actually, really good. WrestlingPerspectivePodcast.com. Make sure you subscribe. You get the Dougcast. You also get the Wrestling Perspective with myself and P.D. Williams. Go to Twitter. Go like the new Twitter page, Dougcast. That's the show. We'll do a lot of promoting over there. We said the name of the hotline. Make sure you go 231-930-2053. Leave a voicemail 7 days a week. Just make sure you say, I'm calling for the Dougcast. James, I got a question, or I'm calling for PD. I got a question because nobody's calling for me. We established that. James, another great show. I'll see you this weekend.
Pumpkin spice latte, Boston cream donut. See you at the airport, buddy. Duh!